Today we're talking about the 5 uses of money. I know it seems like there can be many uses, but really it boils down to just 5 ways to use money. That's what we're going to talk about today. Well, hello, I'm Tommy Neesmith, financial advisor at Christy Capital Management, and I'm joined today with Brandon Christy, financial planner and president of Christy Capital Management, and we really want to have a conversation about money. You know, doesn't that sound crazy? Financial advisors wanting to talk about money. But what we've noticed is every time we talk to someone about money, there's always different input and always different labels we want to put on it. And so today we're going to talk about the 5 uses of money. And there's just 5. It may seem like there's more. We've searched the world over.
Yes.
But we can only find 5 uses of money. And so we're gonna kind of talk about it in reference of a pie chart. And so if you think about your money pie and what that looks like, that's how we're going to cover that today. So the first part of this pie chart, or the first use of money, is live. You know, we have to have money to live on. That's important.
Yes, it is.
Right? We've got to pay utilities. We may have a mortgage or rent, and you have to buy groceries. Eating food's important. Buying clothes. You may want to go on a trip. You may want to go play golf, right? I like to play golf, but you have to have money to live on. And so one of the uses of money is live. Brandon, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the biggest use of money. The vast majority of the money that we have, we spend in the very short term to cover our expenses for most Americans. And that's okay. That's not wrong to do that. We need to live it, and it has been given to us to spend it, oftentimes in the short term. Now, what's neat, as we build out this pie chart, you've now seen the first elements of this pie chart on the screen. Notice, again, we're making a circle. I have lived as a CPA. I love my budget documents that go down the page, spreadsheet after spreadsheet, right? That's fun to me. But as an average, a normal person, let's be clear, if we put this in the picture of a pie chart, now you can see how each piece of the pie affects the other pieces. That's why we're using this as an example here today. So live is a very important piece of the pie. Let's go to the second piece, which will be to give. And a giving is a very important part of what we have that we should be doing. What I have found is the most important thing about giving is not where the money is going, as much as the fact that when we give, we break the bondage that money has on us. We'll spend 80% of our life earning, spending, doing something with money, and that's a lot of time, a lot of energy that we put towards money itself. So when we give it away, we end up separating from that strength, that pull, that energy that money has in attracting us. So we should definitely be calculating, figuring, pushing towards giving money for the express purpose of helping others and help ourselves, not to stay so in love or focused on it that it can mess up our own lives.
Yeah, I really like what you said there about the pull that it has on you. You know, it's amazing how that pull, when we talk about money, it really does kind of draws us to it. And then we have to spend all this time managing it and doing it. And we make a living doing that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we get to help come alongside individuals and help manage that. But when we talk about that draw that it has, and then giving being a part of that to help kind of break that gravitational pull to it, I think that's powerful. I think that's really powerful. So we've got the first use of money is live, and then you have give, and then the third use is owe. Wow, we're going to talk about owe, and we're going to break it down into 2 parts of owe. Really, the first part being that of debt. We may owe someone or some entity something, and so we can owe. We may have a consumer loan. We may have a car payment. We owe things out, and so being able to use money for that. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's okay to have those things again, but that is a use of money. But then as we look at the other side of owe, This is the one that CPAs and everyone loves to talk about, right? And that's taxes. And so we owe taxes. And taxes isn't something that the normal person likes to talk about. And I use that term normal. Brandon is normal. He is a normal CPA. He's great, but no. But taxes are one of the uses of money as we talk about owe. And, as you think about taxes, there's something I know personally for me that it took years to get to this point. But if you really start thinking about taxes and you look at it from a different perspective, it's never really shown up on the radar as a positive comment, right? Oh, I owe taxes today. Oh, today's tax day. I've got to go pay X amount of dollars to the IRS or the state that I live in. But if you step back and you look at it from a different perspective, taxes is really a direct result of God's provision in my and your life. If I didn't have income, if I didn't have a profit from something, then I wouldn't owe taxes. And so we believe that God has provided that to us, those profits or that income, and that we have the opportunity to thank Him when we pay taxes. Brendan, what's your thoughts on that as a CPA?
Yep, that's right. We need to pay what we need to pay. I think it is wise for us to pay as little tax as legally possible, and not to pay extra necessarily, and to take full advantage of the tax laws as they are written. Yep. I think there's that line, right? Don't cross that line into not properly reporting things. We become thieves. We become stealing from the government or from our fellow citizens when we abuse the tax laws. So pay our taxes, be grateful that we're in a country where we can have profits and get to pay, and move on. Celebrate what God has given us and move on to the rest of life. And same thing with debt. Debt, remember, whenever you have debt, you are borrowing against the future. We are presupposing about what's coming down the road, that I'll have enough money to pay that debt. So that's a risk. You need to make sure that you are properly accounting for that risk. And second, the idea is that we are slaves to the master when we are borrowers to a lender. And, we have credit cards, right? What are they called? Discover, MasterCard. Oh, look, they even named it for us, MasterCard. And so we have to be careful of that, because the larger our debt grows, the larger piece of the pie it takes. And something else has to give, right? We'll get into that in just a moment as we live out all the pieces. But if you have more debt, then you have less to live on. And there's no way around it. You can't just create more money out of thin air. You have to work within what God has given you, what you have. So, yes, we owe money in debt and in taxes, and we should keep that as minimal as possible while still staying legal. I think that'd be the best way to say that. So let's turn to the last part of the pie, which would be the grow part. So this is the part that should be in excess to your living, your giving, your owing, right, to taxes and debt. You have grow. This is the piece that you save for later. Again, now remember, why do we save money? Well, we save money ultimately to spend it later, right? You cannot take it with you. It will all be left behind. So either you will spend it or your heirs will spend it one day, but it's all going. But the idea behind growing the money is not to build so much that you can sit back and do nothing the rest of your life and come no value to society. You want to continue to add value to your fellow man, but at the same time, we want to save money and grow it, so when your body, right, Tommy, and it's not going to perform like it does today 20 years from now, right? Maybe it will, but chances aren't real good, right?
I don't know about you, but I have to stretch before I get on an escalator, because if I don't, I may pull a hamstring. So yes, I agree with you.
That's it. So we are growing money, saving it, spending less than we earn, so that later in life we'll have access to money, so we won't be a burden on our fellow man, and can do the things we want to do on into retirement. So I think that is good. Now, I'll get the question a lot, is it okay to save money? How much is enough to save? That's a very personal question, and it needs to be worked out by each person. But I will give you this. I've pulled up a proverb. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 20 does give us an admonition to save. And it says, precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it. So there it is in Proverbs that the idea of having excess beyond just what you need for today is okay. It's there as a wise man will have that. So we want to make sure that we have some of that grow element in our pie, and we're not giving it all up every moment and living right on that edge. That is hard to do at times when you have a lot of children and a lot of expenses and life is catching up with you. But if we can successfully save more, and if we can successfully live on less than we earn for a long period of time, that will give us financial victory over life. So I think that's the key elements: live, give, grow. And now we need to determine how you move the edges of the wedges, right?
Yeah.
How does that work? You want to speak to that for a minute?
Sure, and I think that's really the overarching important key takeaway from this is as you lay out those elements of the money pie, as you think about how much should I save, how much should I live on, how much should I give, how much should I owe, you really can't make a decision in any of those quadrants that are independent of the others. It just affects each quadrant. If I want to save more, I have to live on less, owe less, give less. If I want to have more to live on, not a problem, but the other three quadrants are going to be affected. And I think that's key as we talk about this. And I think another cool thing about this is, Brandon, your money pie for you and your family may look different than my money pie.
Yes.
And so there's no one right way. How do you like that for an answer? It depends. That's a great answer to that. But there is no one right way, and they're going to look different. And it's important to be able to walk through those. And really, as we work with clients at our firm, it's really our foundation where we're coming from. And so as we're giving advice, we are looking at these elements in the money pie. And throughout the years, we are coming alongside of each individual and family and walking through those elements in a systematic process. Sometimes we're working on multiple pieces together, but oftentimes we've really focused in on one of those pieces and coming alongside and walking through that with those families. And that is so rewarding to be able to sit back and do that throughout the years.
A quick example of that would be when a couple is finally launching that last child, right? And what happens to their live portion? It drastically reduces, right? Those children can be quite expensive, especially in those launching years. But then they have to decide, okay, so I'm able to shrink my live, but I haven't been able to save enough for retirement because I've been spending it to manage the home. So then we're able to do a rapid increase of the saving category, the grow category. And given a few years like that, it can make a huge difference in their planning long term by that. So it's wonderful to watch how everyone's pie shifts almost continuously, step by step. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Brandon, I've really enjoyed our conversation today about live, give, grow, owe, and what that means to people who are watching this video. And if you're watching this video and you'd like to have more information or love to talk with a fiduciary or someone in our firm to walk you through your money pie, you can contact us at christycapital.com or at the number that's on your screen.
We need to do the proper disclaimers. The purpose of this video is not to give specific tax advice or investment advice. We're going over general principles and ideas that can be used, and if used correctly can save and avoid taxes. You're going to want to work with someone personally who knows your situation personally, so seek out advice from an independent financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. I hope you enjoyed the video.